Hey, what's happening? Happy Tuesday to everybody. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning I couldn't find anything in politics or Britney Spears or what's his name? Bam. Anything on Bam Margera. I couldn't find anything to talk about. But I seen this story from about 2 or 3 days ago on TMZ, and the link will be down below, of Jason Momoa. And I gotta say, I'm not ragging on Jason Momoa here. I've always kind of been able to relate to Jason Momoa. I liked Aquaman back when I was a kid. You know, the Justice League, and then Marvel, the movies. I loved the Aquaman movies. And not only that, but when I was like in the 1990s, when I was driving a truck, I had hair probably down to here, and I had a mustache. And I'll see if I can find the picture for my thumbnail. And I'm 6'3" now. I was over 6'4" back then, seriously. And I used to have nicknames back. I wasn't going to say this. I used to have nicknames back then. The ladies in the office where I worked when I was driving a truck used to call me Tarzan. Some people used to call me Superman, like that song Superman. Yeah, so I could relate to Jason Momoa. And I used to mosh. I used to slam dance. I started going to concerts in '79. So anyway, I see this story about Jason Momoa in the mosh pit at the Metallica concert in LA. And I got to say this, not about Jason Momoa. He was going at it pretty good, but what they call a mosh pit in this video, it's not the mosh pit. It's not the slam dancing mosh pit that I remember. Things have changed. I got to remember too that this is at an arena. This is like at a Civic Center arena, and the best mosh pits were always at the smaller clubs. I'll get into that in a second. And things have gotten older. I have to remember that too. The last concert I was at was The Offspring at WestCon. Not the last concert, but the last time I was in a mosh pit was at an Offspring concert at West Connecticut State University, probably around 2001. I haven't been to any concerts since I've been clean and sober since October 23rd, 2006. I haven't been to any concerts in 17 years. So, the last slamming I did, I was probably about 36 years old. So I got to give credit to Jason Momoa because he's 44. So I got to take into consideration the place, the age of Jason Momoa, the age of Metallica. I've seen Metallica, I don't know, at least 5 times. So anyway, I watched this video, and this is not the mosh pit that I know. I had my nose broken, and I literally broke my friend's nose by accident a couple times, different friends. So I'm watching this video on TMZ. And the first thing I noticed is the cell phones. Not everybody. At first, it looked like everybody. They're going around in the mosh pit, and to me, it looks just like a rowdy merry-go-round. I hate to say that, but it looks like they're going around a circle, and they're kind of spinning around and waving at people, and they got their cell phones. Cell phones, man! I couldn't imagine bringing any kind of electronic breakable instrument, glasses, anything like that into a mosh pit back when I used to go into mosh pits. It was very sedate as far as mosh pits go. And I started looking this up. I'll have some links down below because I actually found some videos that compare moshing and slam dancing back in the 70s and 80s, late 90s to present day. They compare it to like the 80s, 70s and 80s to the 90s and 2000s actually. And there's some good videos down below. And things have changed. Let's see, some of the places I used to go. It's called the Sting in New Britain, Connecticut, the West Hartford Agora Ballroom. I think there was other Agora ballrooms throughout the country, if I'm not mistaken. I think the whole Agora Ballroom closed down sometime, I don't know, probably before the year 2000. I used to go to New York City to CBGB's in the Village in Manhattan. I saw the Ramones there. I think I saw a band called Anvil there. I saw Henry Rollins from Black Flag. I saw him there, and this was a whole different type of this was not this little merry-go-round like from Metallica, Jason Momoa and Metallica. So this article is saying, he's still in the mosh pit and he's still mixing it up. Like I said, I have to take everything into consideration, the age of Metallica and the age of Jason Momoa, because I haven't been in a mosh pit since I've been, since like 20 years at least. So, and the bands I used to see Slayer, Anthrax. I've seen hundreds of concerts. When we used to go into a mosh pit, it was the basic move was the elbows and the knees, and the biggest guys. Like when I first saw this article in TMZ, I thought, oh, Jason Momoa is perfect for this, But he's a movie star and he's older. I was like, I can't believe he's doing this. I was thinking back to the mosh pits that I used to be in, because it was kind of like King of the Hill back in the mosh pits I was in. The biggest, craziest guys would get in there and just tear it up, and not intentionally hit people, but you go around with your elbows, flinging the elbows and the knees, your head down, and you'd either bounce across, like you'd go, your friends would push you in, and you'd go across to the other side and just hit everybody in the way, just take out everybody in your path, literally. Or you just go around from side to side and around. We didn't really go around a circle. Then I saw in these videos the newer moshing, and it's just not. It actually looks like country line dancing, except to metal music. There's people like separated, by a little bit of distance, kind of like a aerobic workout or something, and they're all just throwing their fists, but they're all separated. They're not hitting each other. They're not interacting. There was a definite a rush, because when you came out of there, you were almost always bleeding. You never saw women or girls or anybody small or frail in the mosh pit. The mosh pit was for the hardiest of the concert goers back in my day. Megadeth. I remember seeing Megadeth too. Like I said, the last mosh pit I was in was the seeing the band The Offspring at the WestCon campus. And I remember the Offspring, this was about in 2001, 2002. And I think the band that opened for them was the Lunatics. I'd never heard of them before. It was like a punk band. And they're all dressed as like punk nurses and all girls. And then the Offspring come on. And at one point, they actually took 10 people up on the stage to stage dive. There was stage diving back when I was, in the mosh pits. I'm sure they're still stage diving now, but it was much more free. I don't want to say aggressive or violent, but it was much more free when I was in there. Like I said, my best friend that I went to the concert with, I actually broke his nose at least twice, I think. My friend Kenny Ray, who's missing now. I have no idea where he is. So the Offspring, they took 10 people on stage, and I know they took, it was a little girl up there, and they just sent them flying off the stage, like doing backflips, diving into the audience. That was a mosh pit. Henry Rollins, let's see, I wrote down some of the notes here. I went to a Black Sabbath concert back in the 80s, I think, and it was crazy. It was a sold-out concert. This didn't have anything to do with moshing or slam dancing, but I went with my friend, who's dead now. He overdosed. And there was no tickets. It was sold out. I think Ronnie James Dio was singing. This was at the New Haven Coliseum. And we tried. There's a bunch of people trying to get in. And they actually broke a hole through the top of the Coliseum. There was pieces of the roof falling down into the Coliseum during the show. The people outside, I was one of them, went crazy trying to get in. My friend jumped over a fence. The police were chasing us, and he cut up his wrist. The area where they went under, the band and the buses went underneath the Coliseum. There was a big metal door, and a bunch of us all got together and ripped the metal door up and pulled it up and off. It was like about a 20-foot wide metal door where the buses would go down. And we tore it up and tore it off, and we started running down into the Coliseum where the buses were parked. And this whole squadron of security and cops came around the corner, like 20 security and cops with nightclubs came around the corner running back up at us. So we all turned around and ran back out the door. And that's when my friend cut his wrist, jumping up on a car and up over a fence to get away. Yeah, I have a lot of concert stories. Anyway, the Jason Momoa in the mosh pit at the Metallica concert, not the mosh pit not the mosh pit I remember back from the 80s. All right, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know about your mosh pits. Have a good Tuesday.